I will talk about the foundation concepts for this show. Okay? And after that, we'll go into discussion because I talk about anything on this show and I examine it from the Lakota Star Knowledge perspective. And and then you need to know what that is, yeah, so you understand what I'm saying. And also, when I say these things, I say it in such a way as to present you a perspective. Okay, I'm not asking you to accept it, and I'm not asking you to believe it. Yeah, you can disagree with it all you want. You can totally reject it. That's okay. All I'm doing is presenting this perspective. Okay, that it does exist, and that there's still a little bit of us that do believe this way, because not all Indians believe this either. Yeah, because of what happened in the early days of the reservation, when it was a very difficult time and we were not allowed to leave the reservation in those days. We were not allowed to have weapons, so we couldn't hunt for the foods that we need. Yeah, and or pick uh, wild vegetables. We were not allowed to do that. So we only had to eat what the government gave to us, which was really, really unhealthy foods. So we were hit physically. Now remember, in our way, the self has four parts. You have the physical body, the mind, the emotional self, and the soul. And those four parts are connected together. So if one part goes down, we become sick. And pretty soon the other three parts are gonna go down too, because they're all connected to each other. And where they connect is in a sacred area inside of you called your sacred center. Yeah. So first of all, our bodies were hit because we're not allowed to eat healthy foods, so we develop heart disease, hypertension, diabetes, and obesity. And then there was a law made in April 10th, 1883, that said we could not practice our ceremonies and we could not, we could not participate in their ceremonies and we could not conduct them, and that our language has also become illegal. So that that law hit us spiritually and emotionally. So look at that. We were hit in three of the four parts of the self all at once: the physical body, the emotional self, and the soul. We were hit in those three areas at once. That leaves one part left, the mind. And that's how we became weak minded. Yeah? We were hit in those three parts: the body, the emotional self, the soul. We were hit in those three parts incredibly, severely hard. And that's how we became weak minded. Then the preachers came, the churches came, and they saw our condition was perfect for brainwashing. And that's how we became Christian. And during that process, the priests changed definitions of certain words to Christian definitions. So before the reservation, you could say, imagine a big house, okay? You define it. Imagine a big house. This was the Lakota way before the reservation, okay? That represents the Lakota way before the reservation. And then, when we were put on the reservations, the priests went in that house, took out one floor tile, and burned the house down. And then, with this one floor tile, they painted a cross on it. Maybe they poured some holy water on it. And this is symbolic of Christianizing or Catholicizing that one tiny remnant of that house. And then these priests said, this is the Lakota way. This one little tile. And because we were weak-minded and we were being brainwashed, we accepted what they presented to us as the Lakota way. Even though it's a tiny, tiny, Christianized, Catholicized remnant. Yeah, it's not the real ancient way at all. That's why most Lakota people today don't know the ancient way. They don't know the Lakota Star Knowledge way. Yeah, what I just explained here, this is the reason why they don't know. And when I talk about it, they don't want to believe it because they're too Christian influenced. And even when they're not going to church anymore, they're still thinking in that Christian influence. It's called duality, and that's what I'm going to explain here in a few minutes. Okay, so this is the reason why most Lakota people today don't know this perspective, and when they hear about it, it does not fit their Christian way of thinking. It does not fit their Christian influenced way of thinking. It does not fit their dualistic way of thinking. So they reject it and say, that's nonsense. So most Lakota people today are rejecting the ancient way. But there are very few of us who still hold on to it. Yeah, because this is a very ancient way. And in this ancient way, we called ourselves Ikche Oyate. That means the common people or the human nation. Men who believe this ancient way call themselves Ikche Wichasha. That means human man. Women, they will say Ikche Wiyan. That means human woman. But today's Lakota people, most of them, because of this experience I just told you, most of them call themselves Lakota. They don't say Ikche anymore. That's kind of sad. Yeah? Instead, they call themselves Lakota. And to me, it's nice, but you're separating yourself from the human category. Yeah? And that's not the ancient way. So this is an important thing to know. Yeah? So that's why most Lakota people of today do not believe what I say on this show. But that's okay, because this show is recorded and it will be on the internet as long as there's an internet. And maybe someday in the future they'll find it after a very, very severe destruction has occurred and people are trying to rebuild themselves. Maybe they will find this show. And they'll say, oh, that's what it was. And start believing again. Yeah? So it's for everybody. Because the ancient way is founded on natural law, and that people call themselves human. Ikche Oyate. This show is for everybody. The message is for everybody. In ancient times, on spring equinox, a certain group of people would climb a very, very high mountain in the Black Hills called Hihankaha. And there's a story behind that, but I'm not going to tell that. yeah, because it's not that time of the year for that. But I should add in here really quick. In our ancient stories, there are some stories that can only be told at certain times of the year. Yeah, they're not supposed to be told at other times, and it there's traditional rules that regard that. Okay, so that's why I said that. All right, all right. Anyway, this what I'm telling now is general information. Um, but it's spring equinox. They climb. This group of people climbs this hihankara, and they take a heoka with them. Okay, now a heoka is a man who does everything backwards. He speaks the opposite of what he means. He dresses backwards. He walks backwards. He puts his hair over his face. Um, and the simplest tasks, he does them in the most difficult way. Yeah, like just to sit down, it's gonna really make it like it's just a difficult task to do. Yeah, that's what do you call it? A heoka. But not anybody can be heoka. Okay, this is this has to do with for men. Yeah, this is something that I'll tell you the reason why. See, we have a creature, I shouldn't say a creature, a being in our culture by the name of Wakia. A lot of people just think it's a thunder, yeah, it's a lightning. No, no, it's a being, and it is female, but it can it can express itself as a male, and when it does that, it's Heoka. Okay, so that's a hermaphrodite, is what it is. Okay, see, most Lakota people today don't know that. And when if what I just said, they're going to disagree with me. And the reason why is because they're Christian influenced. Like that's why I said what I said just a few minutes ago, yeah, before the song break. Um, see, these are the to a being that's a hermaphrodite, that's male and female at the same time. This is totally in violation of the Bible. So the priest could not have us be talking about these kind of things. Yeah, remember we were weak-minded at the beginning of the reservation times. I already explained that. So we started to believe what the priests were saying. So that's why today when I say Wagia was a hermaphrodite, they don't understand that. They can't comprehend that there are people who are both male and female at the same time. Yeah, they're not bisexual, they're not transgender, they're not gay. No, they're male and female at the same time. It's a whole different concept. Okay? That's what Wakia is. And when she expresses her female side, it's this thunder being. And that represents cleansing. Okay? Now, when she expresses her male side, it's Heoka. And Heokas, they do things in reverse and opposites. Yeah. So they a lot of times, what heokas do make people laugh, and laughter is cleansing. See, a heoka is still about cleansing, and something that I've said too about communication. That when you send out a healthy communication, it comes back to you 4 times as strong to bless you. Okay, so when a heoka is making people laugh, see, he's giving them medicine. That's a healthy communication. That act of making people laugh is going to come back to him to bless him. So sometimes people who are going through a real hard difficulty, sometimes they're going to be, they might ask to be Heoka for a year. Yeah, and so this is, so they're going to when they do these Heoka things, see, they're making people laugh, and it's helping others to feel good. and that's going to come back to them 4 times as strong. And through that process, they may receive the answer. Yeah. But the reason why this is for men is because this is the male attribute of wakia. That's why. Okay. So with women, they have something internal in their bodies that involves a cleansing process. Yeah, that's a whole different thing, but that's associated with that. Okay, and but with men, it's heoka. Yeah, so when if you see a lady who is still in her menstruating years and she's trying to be heoka, she's violating an ancient tradition here. She's literally taking her heart out and throwing it on the ground, so she don't even know what she is. So she's doing these things. See, that's the ancient perspective. Okay. So again, most Indians today are going to disagree with me because they're Christian influenced. They're dualistic. But that's okay. I'm not concerned about that. Yeah. So these heokas, they have they can call the thunder. So there are certain ceremonies where they can they participate in certain ceremonies that have to do with healing, like healing of the mind. Yeah, because reality begins within. It does not begin in your heart. It begins in your mind, and this is scientifically proven as well. Yeah, it's just that your brain sends out things, and this your heart interprets those things. So when you fall in love with somebody, it's not really happening from your heart. It's happening in your mind. Yeah, and your heart just plays a role. And likewise, when you experience a difficulty, you feel a certain emotion, and but then still have to bring in your mind to start learning from it. After you express the emotion in a constructive way, you bring in your mind. Yeah, because that's where the key is. It's in the mind. It's not in the heart. Okay? But it's using your heart and your mind together. That's how it works. Yeah, together, because you have them. Okay, so um, these people climb on top of Hihankara and they do a certain ceremony up there, and it's called, what is it? It's called Yate Iwaki Chipi. Now, I'm not going to tell you what that is because it's going to gross some of you out. Yeah, but it involves calling the thunders. Yeah, but the Iata um, Iwaki Chipi, this does not mean calling the thunders back. That's not what that means. That means it means something else, but I'm not going to translate that for you because some of you might might say, No, it is. It's some people from the Western world. This is something they cannot comprehend. I'm not saying I'm better or that this knowledge is better than you. No, 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 no. It's coming from a very, very ancient perspective, and people today who are dualistic, something like this might gross them out. They can't comprehend it because duality limits your understanding and comprehension ability. Okay, that's why. But the purpose of the ceremony is to call back the thunders, and the only person that can do that is the Heoka, because they uh, they are involved. They are called by the thunder. When a man dreams of thunder and lightning constantly, see the today's modern dualistic uh, person is probably going to think, "Oh, that means I have the power of the thunder." No, you don't. Just women do. Yeah, just women have that. It's in their cleansing power. Okay? No, if a man dreams this, that means he's supposed to be Heoka. He's supposed to be a clown. Yeah, he's supposed to do this for at least a year. Yeah, so he has to talk to a medicine man right away because if you avoid it, it could kill you. That's the dangerous thing. Yeah, because if you avoid it, it's like you're holding your breath on purpose, like you don't want to breathe. So it's not the thunder that's killing you, it's you that's killing yourself. When you get a call from the thunder, this is it's a blessing. Remember what I said, when you make people laugh, you're sending out a healthy communication, and that's going to come back to you to bless you. So it's actually a good thing. It's a really good thing to be Heoka. Yeah? But it can only be men who dream of it. And the exception is men who are going through a really difficult decision. They can't make a decision on something really, really, really important. Yeah, and this being a heoka for a year can help them make that decision. Okay, so that's the exception, but it's min. It's because the heoka is the male attribute of wakia, the thunder being. All right, this is ancient rules here. So um, the heoka is the one who goes up with these people, and they call back the thunders, and they do certain things, and they call back the thunders. Yeah, this is the first part of the a big journey. Yeah, it begins in spring equinox and it ends on summer solstice. So it's a 3 month journey for this group of people. Yeah, it's not everybody. Yeah, it's just a certain group of people. And usually in ancient times, the Sicangu Lakota people are the keepers of Lakota star knowledge. There's a lot of stories that involve the star people and the Sicangu Lakota people. Today, the Sicangu Lakota people live on Rosebud Sioux Reservation and Lower Brule Sioux Reservation in South Dakota. And my father is from Rosebud, so I'm half Sicangu Lakota. Yeah? And the other half of me is Itazipco Lakota from my mother's side. That's the group that received the white buffalo calf pipe. So I come from two pretty good sides. Hey. My left cheek comes from the Sicangu side, and and my right eye comes from no. But anyway, of course it's like that. Shoot. Yeah, so there's every year in ancient times there was a journey that happened, and it wasn't just all the people. Yeah, it's just a certain group of people, and normally it was Sicangu Lakota people. What they were doing is they were following um, what was happening in the stars. Yeah, if you can hear some noise in the background, I'm cleaning up my candy wrappers. a really, a really good friend of mine from Switzerland, by the name of Irene, she sent me some Easter egg chocolates. So I got them in the mail yesterday. So Swiss chocolate, yeah, extra large. Okay, yeah, this is really good stuff. Yeah, really, really good stuff. I have to kind of control myself there. Swiss chocolate is good. It's really good. Anyway, so this journey, see what's happening is there's certain, we have our own star constellations, as every tribe has their own thing too. Yeah, in the Lakota world, we had our own star constellations, and when the path of the sun would would when it appears to be going a certain, through a certain constellation, then um, we say, okay, that we have to be at a certain location because these constellations, there we have representations on the earth for them. Okay, so it's our view, yeah, from our perspective. So when something is happening in one constellation, we have to go to that location and do a certain ceremony. Okay, and then as it goes through another constellation, then we move to a different location. Now remember, this is just a small group of Lakota people that are doing this. And this begins with spring equinox, and it culminates at what we know as Mathotipila, but the modern world knows it as Devil's Tower. Yeah, that there's a certain thing that we do there. Okay, so that's a 3 month journey. So it begins. Um, well, it already started. Yeah, in ancient times. Let's go back several, many, many, many thousands of years ago, and we picture this group of Lakota people that they, on spring equinox, which this year was the 20th of March, they do a certain ceremony at Hihankara, calling back the thunders. And the next several days, they're going into a center of the Black Hills, and this is a place that's called Presla, and it's the reason why it's like Presla is like Pre is short for Prehin, yeah, and that's hair, and it's like an area like there's hair missing, this like that, yeah, and so it's like a prairie in the center of the Black Hills, but it's in a really high elevation, and thousands of years ago, uh, some star people landed there, and they had they met with some Lakota people, and these were Sicangu Lakota people. Like I said, these are the star knowledge keepers. Okay, and there's a lot of stories involving this. I'm gonna go quick. Okay, I'm not gonna say the whole story because some people might take it out of context, right? But what basically happens is that two Lakota women went with these people, and one stayed out there. The other one didn't like it up there, so she came back. And the Lakota lady that came back, she was with child, and she was pregnant, and she landed in the same area in Presla, and she soon after she landed, she died, and she gave. But just before she died, she gave birth to this child, and his name was Wichachbihikbaye, fallen star. Yeah, and this fallen star, he's half Lakota, and he's half from those people and at this other world that his father's from. So remember, there one Sicangu Lakota lady, she stayed up there. Her marriage was good, yeah. So she stayed up there, had children for that guy up there. So somewhere out there on one of them planets, there are there are people who are descendants from the Sicangu Lakota woman. Think about that. Yeah? And Fallen Star, he's half Lakota and half from the Star people too. So he lived among the Lakota people and lived a very long life. And he really was a very wise person. And we get a lot of teachings from this fallen star. Yeah, and the Catholics, they try to say that this is Jesus, but that doesn't sound right. Yeah, because in the Bible, the fallen star is Satan. So there's the difficulty there. So this is another reason why the churches did not want us to know these stories, because they conflict with the Bible. But like I said, there's still people that know these stories, so we tell them, yeah, like I'm doing right now on this show. So, excuse me, this fallen star was very, very intelligent. He grew mature, wise, very fast, and lived a long time. And he took a woman for a wife and had children. So among the Itazipco Lakota people, there are descendants from the Star Nation among that group. Yeah? Isn't that cool? So there's a connection, yeah, between this this other planet and these Sicangu Lakota people. There is a connection. So, um, the in the next few days, they're gonna, ancient times, people are gonna do another ceremony in this Preshla area. Yeah, and this is um, um, what do you call it? It's a part of calling back um, animals. Yeah, certain animals. It's calling them back. Um, like the birds that fly south, the the bears, to wake up. Um, things like that to return. Um, and the ceremony is called Okisataya Woahwala. Yeah, it's to it's for certain plants and animals to return. Yeah, they're calling them back. It's preparing for spring is what's happening. So that's going to happen in a few days. Then this group splits into two groups. One group is going to go southwest, the other one's going to go northwest. Yeah? So let the ones that go southwest, we'll call them the southwest group. Okay, they're going to go close to the Rocky Mountains, and they're going to go to a place where there's a lot of lava rocks. And the northwest group is going to Matotipila. Yeah, this is today people know it as Devil's Tower. Okay, the northwest group is going to go there, and they're gonna be there for 2 months. Yeah, and they're going to be making preparations for the summer solstice ceremony. I'll talk about that ceremony on summer solstice. Okay, so I'm just telling you what's happening thousands of years ago. All right, the southwest group, they are, like I said, they're gathering lava rocks for this ceremony that's going to happen at Matotipila, or Devil's Tower. Okay, so they're gathering a bunch of rocks, and what they're going to do is they're going to bring them to the northwest group. So when you look at this path from above, this the north from Treshla, and how they split into two groups. Yeah, where the northwest group goes to Devil's Tower, and the southwest group goes, to the Rocky Mountain area, and then the southwest group swings back to the northwest group. When you look at this path, it looks like a skull. So it's like a buffalo skull. That represents something too in the stars. Yeah, that also has a representation. Yeah. So, um, this Mathotipila, where they're going to have that ceremony on summer solstice, it would be called Pte Heri. Yeah, Pte Heri. And there's another location called Iangara, and this is where creation on this planet begins. Yeah, and this is called Pteheri. No, I have that wrong. It becomes Ptehesapa. Hesapa. He, I forgot to say. Yeah. So these are the names. They mean certain things for these ceremonies. Okay. So this is something that happens every year, and it's going to end on summer solstice, and I will discuss that when summer solstice comes. I will discuss that ceremony. Okay. Now, why do you think they're gathering lava rocks? Why not just normal rocks? Well, you see, the blood of the earth is lava. A lot of people think it's water. No, no, no. That's not the blood of the earth. The blood of the earth is lava. It's from within the earth. Yeah, it comes from within the earth. So it has the tone, yeah, from within the earth. So that's sacred. It's very sacred. Yeah. So this is why they're going to use those rocks to bring energy from the center of the earth into this ceremony. That's the reason why. Yeah. The beginning of creation, the earth, it was formed by, um, pieces of everything, anything just smashing into each other. As our creation story is very, very similar to the Big Bang Theory. Okay, um, not that comedy show. No, the actual Big Bang Theory. It's similar to that. Not exactly, because there's some differences. Okay, but it's kind of similar to that. And when pieces of you know of creation are just flying all throughout the universe, and some eventually they're bumping into each other, and they're forming into huge objects, and next thing you know, these huge objects collide with each other, and after billions of years, these planets start to form. Okay, so when they first form, they're hot. They're very hot. They're very um, what do you call it? There's lava is constantly flowing over the surface, and as it starts to cool down, it creates the ozone, and then next thing you know, a water cycle is created. So water comes on the earth. Let's see, it's all like a chain process, yeah, like a domino thing. It's pretty cool actually. And in Lakota star knowledge, they say the earth, in the beginning, her name is Makha. Not Unchi Makha, not Ina Makha, no, just Makha. Because she's just created. She's new. And the stories say she was very temperamental. She was always complaining, and she gets mad just easy. She likes to pout. I think about that. That really did happen. When the earth was first created, she was very hot. The surface was very hot. Hence, she was grumpy. She was complaining all the time. She never was satisfied. Even if she got her way, she would still find fault with it. It's like a little child. Yeah? So it matches. It matches how the earth was in the beginning. She wasn't this wise woman and oh, I just love everybody. She wasn't like that. She was really no good. Oh gosh. But she developed, yeah, as she cooled down and the water cycle formed, and the four times came into effect. Yeah, the four times being, what are the four times again? Uh, like I always get this mixed up. Um, the day and the night. Um, let's see, daytime, nighttime, uh, and month and year. I think that's how that works. Because there's a bunch of things that happen that set up the four times. Okay, and so after all these things happen, she grows up. Yeah, the earth grows up, and uh, she becomes wise. Yeah, she becomes quite knowledgeable about things, and very um, motherly. Yeah, as creatures come on the earth, and then later humans, and so forth, and she becomes motherly, and she creates things so that everybody can live on her, and she loves everybody. Yeah, this is this is how that works. So she develops into a wise person. Yeah, and then grandmotherly. So in the ceremonial way, they say unchimaka. Yeah. So, but when she was born, when she was created, there was blood all over her. That's the lava of the earth. Yeah. Now think about that. That happens a lot. I mean, to people too. When babies are born, they come out. There's blood all over them. Yeah. When a lot of animals are this way too. Plants, a lot of plants bleed red too. And this is why red is sacred. It represents blood, which represents life. So when you hear an Indian say red represents Indian people, no, 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 no. In the Lakota Star Knowledge stories, it never says we are Oyate Luta. That would mean the red people or red nation. It never says that. It calls us Ikche Oyate, the common people. That's what it says. It doesn't even say Lakota at all. Yeah? It doesn't even say that. It calls us human, the common people. Ikche Oyate. So red represents life. So the lava rocks, that's the blood of the earth. So this is going to be involved also in this summer solstice ceremony. That blood is going to be a part of that too. It's life, so that the people may live. Yeah, that's how they say that. That's why they say that. That's why red is sacred. So when you hear somebody say Chankuluta, and if they say that's the Indian way, no, that's false. It's not the Indian way. Chankuluta is the road of life. Chanku is road. Luta is red. For anything that's alive, you say luta. If it's not alive, you say sha. Okay? That's how that works. So this is just some background information. Yeah. So that's why they're using the lava rocks. Yeah. For this summer solstice ceremony. That's why they that is why they use it, because it has lava is is the blood of our grandmother Earth, and blood has tu in it. It's sacred. Tu is part of what makes life possible. Life is more than a brain and a heart working and lungs breathing. Yeah, the tu is very much involved with this. So the tu in blood is what makes it possible for life to be here. So the ceremony is going to involve that. Yeah, it's going to involve something to do with blood. So I'll leave it at that. But but this is what started. Yeah, and now the guys are getting ready. Yeah, they're heading down to this. Thousands of years ago, one group is heading towards the Rockies. The other group is heading towards Devil's Tower or Mathotipila. They're going to prepare now. They have 2 months to prepare for this summer solstice ceremony. Isn't that neat? And they do this every year so that the people may live.